Hey, I'm Paul Baker. I'm performing with Fez Moreno as Chromatic System, which is an audio-visual performance created with old-fashioned machines. My contribution will be 16mm film painted on with various leftovers, household chemicals, salt, spray paint, and the film's projected on a Kodak Analyst. It's variable speed, but 24 frames a second. And then once it's digitized and compressed, I don't know what it will look like, but that's part of the constraints of the piece.
Hey everyone, I'm Fez Moreno and I'm going to talk about my test equipment synthesizer that I used to make the music on the films that we presented as a Chromatic System with Paul Baker. So this is the machine that I built out of different pieces of telecommunications and data communications test equipment from anywhere between the early 60s to the late 70s. And the way I make music with this is I have this word generator right here, which is triggered by this variable phase function generator, which feeds a clock to create a pulse here. And this one divides the time and sends it off to these different types of oscillators, which are called pulse generators, sweep generators, and function generators. And I have an electronic switch which does weird time divisions, and I have some filters and other types of devices that allow me to manipulate the sound waves. So this is kind of what it sounds like. I'm gonna bring the bass in. Here's my cat. And I have these sweep generators going right now. There's another one here. And I can manipulate the sound. And yeah, I mean that kind of covers my instrument, and I hope you all enjoy. So, thanks for watching.
Hey, I'm Paul Baker. I'm performing with Fez Moreno as Chromatic System, which is an audio-visual performance created with old-fashioned machines. My contribution will be 16mm film painted on with various leftovers, household chemicals, salt, spray paint, and the film's projected on a Kodak Analyst. It's variable speed, but 24 frames a second. And then once it's digitized and compressed, I don't know what it will look like, but that's part of the constraints of the piece.
Hey everyone, I'm Fez Moreno and I'm going to talk about my test equipment synthesizer that I used to make the music on the films that we presented as a Chromatic System with Paul Baker. So this is the machine that I built out of different pieces of telecommunications and data communications test equipment from anywhere between the early 60s to the late 70s. And the way I make music with this is I have this word generator right here, which is triggered by this variable phase function generator, which feeds a clock to create a pulse here, and this one divides the time and sends it off to these different types of oscillators, which are called pulse generators, sweep generators, and function generators. And I have an electronic switch which does weird time divisions, and I have some filters and other types of devices that allow me to manipulate the sound waves. So this is kind of what it sounds like. I'm gonna bring the bass in. Here's my cat. And I have these sweep generators going right now. And there's another one here. And I can manipulate the sound. And yeah, I mean that kind of covers my instrument, and I hope you all enjoy. So, thanks for watching.
okay? I didn't look it up because I didn't want to. But the song I'm obsessed with.
The Luis Miguel song?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially saying why do you have to leave like this? Why are you leaving like this?
No, it's saying no me dejas. No me dejas. It's like don't leave me like this.
Don't leave me like this.
Yeah.
Because when he repeats the chorus, he's like, no. Instead of, like, the first couple words. It's like...
I don't know it well enough to picture.
It's a really good song.
I know.
Great strings, great harmonizing dual guitar.
I know.
It's so good.
Like the whole time I've been here, I've told myself that it's a story that I have to like lock myself for 3 weeks at least to digest like all of the music of Luis Miguel, all of the music of Juan Gabriel, all of the music of Jose, Shakira, Selena.
Oh, Shakira said, I guess you're not from San Antonio.
No.
Because
I'm
Shakira
from Chicago,
and...
bitch.
I'm from Chicago.
It was a Drag Race reference.
There's a what?
It was a Drag Race reference.
I don't consume that.
I know. And then also watch lots of telenovelas.
Yeah, okay.
Because there's certain times when I'm with Christian that it's not a language thing, it's just like a cultural thing that I just do not understand any of the references that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has like an incredible command of all of that and can just like bring it up and insert it in any situation. And his friend Alan, who I was talking about today, also does. So when I hang out with them, like a dick.
You don't get any of
They
this.
spend a lot of time talking about like certain songs.
This person?
Yeah.
Is
the
Tamara Ibarra,
reflection of the
who
song and like when that song came out.
she's an artist, but her
what the
work
circumstances around its release
more or
were,
less is like
and what happened to
like feminist artists and making
singer,
publications.
because most of them
okay,
have
cool.
like lives.
It's just
I
great.
mean,
It's just like super
that's a
nice,
pretty
and I don't know who their
common thing with music stars.
Yeah, it seems like everybody here that I meet is like super
this-
brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's
Why?
That's what's so annoying about like New York, LA, whatever Bridgeton.
Uh-huh.
There's so many brilliant people everywhere else who are
Yeah.
actually doing more interesting things just
Yeah.
because they're from places that aren't those places.
Yeah,
They're thinking
from
of-
places that are interesting.
They have like actual unique, like different thoughts that are not just the same regurgitated thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure you know about that, like with fucking
Yeah.
Not just probably the most
experimental,
brilliant.
whatever.
Yeah, not
Well, I
just.
don't think it has anything to do with
Organized.
the quality or kind of music that you're making. I think it has to do
The
with the
Americans.
consumption of that music.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You
You,
know the history.
you also have bring people together.
You know, something together.
Oh yeah, I mean,
That
like I could, yeah. I mean,
Very
if
unique
we
perspectives.
sit into like, you know,
Yeah.
even today at lunch, we were talking about like specific music things, and Christian was reading Facebook, which is like totally legit.
Throw down.
He doesn't
cake.
know those references.
Yeah.
I
At all.
don't expect him to care.
And like, there's no reason for him to be expected.
2020 wouldn't be biennial. Throw
Oh
down
my
cake.
god.
And also, I remember
Throw don't take.
when I was at the level
And
of
then like
Spanish
the
that he is
sub
with English,
theme. Like,
that it's really mentally tiring, actually.
Mhm.
Where's the sausage?
To be in a conversation and like that you have to take breaks. It's important. Like, I remember I had to.
Into what?
If I couldn't like find
What do you
someone
want?
to speak English with, I had to just
He wants to go to the
like
couch.
bail and look at my phone
Okay.
for like
We can do that.
Yeah.
conversation.
There's,
It's gonna pack when I bought the emergency.
Yeah, I
Listen to people
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
what they're saying, because no one talks the way that language is like supposed to work. So
Yeah.
like it's
There's a
confusing
couple left.
figuring out like what people are saying.
It's cold in here, but
That, and then
it's fine.
you have to figure out what words
It's
are
slightly
using. Who
feel
they're
bad
talking about, who
if
different
you
among people
are
you know in common.
sleeping in.
Smoky?
Obviously,
Yeah,
Christians.
because
Yeah, even when we were talking about like people in music, and Diana was there. So she's like,
Yeah, she's like blank.
You're like,
yeah, she's like, I don't know who these people, and we're like speaking
and then I
a language
lit a
that she
cigarette.
is like extremely familiar with.
True. Yeah.
that was yours.
No?
No, no. Okay.
You
So
switched
I can't
ones?
imagine.
Sure.
3-4 layers to that.
Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice bone?
It's hard.
Bone. Hueso.
Hueso?
I can't
Hueso.
understand.
Hueso.
No, they're
Which is
perfect.
also the
What's going on around me?
here word for a gig.
Like,
Yeah,
even
that's very
Christian
different.
are
Anybody like shut up.
but it's not necessarily like hiding it.
No.
Hueso.
Voy a tocar un hueso.
Ah.
Tengo un hueso en la noche. Esta noche.
But I can tell.
Like
I
a
can pick one.
100.
Yeah, you see. What did Mavi say when you said
Con Jacob Imave.
You see the presents?
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
We have a
That
tenemos
was
un hueso.
horrible.
That, no.
Like we walked there because
Paga
you were like,
nada.
the whole time we were chilling.
Pero pagamos mucho.
We're going there, and we went there.
Jacob.
It's I
People
mean,
who book these kinds of festivals and who go to these kinds of festivals are not expecting or wanting like a direct confrontation of any kind.
no, that's
They want
right.
they want experimental music, but they want the genre of experimental music, which is actually not an experiment; it's a genre.
Yeah, I'm curious about that festival.
It looks great. I think it'll be.
Like
I
the
wanna
everybody
see-
that's on it.
Is
And
it-
I'm honestly like if we can like
And there's I'm really interested in the Wick. That's like a resurgence of a
They'll
neon
be good. They'll be fine.
it'll be cute because we can like get there. We won't be second track.
She's
Full
so
families
good.
who
It's like
arrive.
Just nightmare.
Was there a tweet or was it here?
And then we can get there in time to eat lunch.
That was like that was talking about like if
Like one of like
fuck, what's her name?
my
If
favorite
Renee Lockwood
place to eat
had
in this country, I think, is
the
there.
career trajectory of
And
like
Houdini also.
it's like
Really?
We
Well,
can eat
Le
lunch
Mans, yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
That was me tweeting.
It'll take forever.
That was you tweeting.
Slow.
I think that's smart.
And
I think about that a lot.
And
Not only with music history, but with art history.
it's got to be
With,
like,
live
music
at
and art
where
history.
we're playing and set up and talk about it is.
It says there's no file.
And
Because it doesn't have
more
anything to
it's
do with
in
the
front of
quality
their
of
house,
the work
which
of these people.
also has really good food.
Entirely
It's
much more misogyny.
But they have really good mezcal.
Like
Ah.
that and the Lockwood has never been
Being out
taken.
there.
Has not been taken as seriously as Le Mans for the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it has nothing to do with that her work is any less amazing.
Also, the
It all has to do with
sorry
that
for
she's a
saying,
woman
Yeah.
and like not associated
because I was
with
clicking the button
things to me.
with the.
I think it's interesting because the whole because of what I've been talking about this whole time, like the art does two things that are opposite. One is that it allows people to be intimate with each other,
Which is fantastic.
which is fantastic. The other thing is that it allows people to
It's fun. It's on the bottom right.
think themselves
There's a card over there.
to be more intelligent and more special than others.
You want tacos?
No, do you?
You do.
You hungry?
Getting there.
Okay.
I don't know if have mezcal, but I would like beer with it, you know?
Yeah. That's just so cute.
Mm-hmm. I like it when he pushes his face against me. Right? Not sure.
This is like his dream situation.
Two
To be
people.
in between two people who are.
And never leaving.
Yeah.
Not sure.
No, I don't think I'll be hungry again, but I think we should definitely get more beer.
Yeah.
But if you're hungry, we should go to this place over here. You can say you've been to that place.
Okay. Wait, you said you will be hungry again or will not?
Well, not.
I am.
It's okay.
I don't know why.
It's fine.
How do you feel?
But like in
Yeah.
specific portions.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You should do it.
Removed from like any kind of like, I mean not totally removed, but like not a part of like any kind of like very concrete photo. Ah, gracias. But not really.
It's a newer take, but it's also it's like an old take, but it's also part of like this like endlessly cycling contemporary art thing, which has been like contemporary artists have been contemporary art since like 1945.
Yeah, and
So-
it's coming back, but just from like
Just the same thing. Over
it's
and over
the
and
same
over again.
thing. Like, but that take is being used by guys who wear like the fucking like New Balance shoes
I don't
and
know, Nacho.
Nacho. That one was good.
He really smells.
That was bad, but it was also really good. Congratulations. But yeah, it's like the same take, but just like a different demographic, maybe.
Mhm.
Like the New Balance rolled jeans kind of dudes in Brooklyn that are like saying the same thing, but also are really like elusive and like don't talk about where their money comes from.
Yeah.
it's like the same kind of.
Well, it's like this, like,
just different costume.
you know, it's like they say in The Crown.
The middle class doesn't exist.
No.
Yeah, unless it's in cash outside it.
Unless it's drunk.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sonia Gonzalez, and I am the managing director of Church of the Friendly Ghost. And I am here with Zachary James Watkins and Luke Judd. And you just saw their performance that they amazingly blew us all away with. And we are going to have a Q&A with them right now. This is a pre-recorded Q&A, so just know that Zachary is on the YouTube channel right now, and he will be asking any questions live. And you can find that at cotfg.org. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Can I just get some introductions first? Zachary, if you want to go first.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting us. Mm-hmm. And we met in February for No Idea.
You and I did? Yep, we sure did.
And
yeah,
you were
that was fun.
Just like the main, like you were there every day.
I'm just moving all kinds of stuff.
There, and then the last person there, you know.
Moving chairs.
I have a lot of respect for you. So
thank you. It was a fun time.
You're working hard. So I live in Oakland, and I'm a musician, and I kind of I like to play music. Yeah. And I find myself on a guitar, and I find myself writing notation for certain opportunities occasionally, mm-hmm. For commissions if that happens once in a blue moon. And then I've also worked with my good friend Ross with more of a synthesizer-based electronic music. And I've lived in Oakland for 15 years, and I love it here.
Yeah, you went to Mills, right?
I ended up going to Mills here. Mills, yeah. That's what brought me here, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just want to give props to Oakland and San Francisco, and all the great people I've met here, and all the wonderful art community.
Yeah.
And the beautiful town.
Yeah.
So.
And you run a label too, correct?
Yeah, it's one of what you would call like a vanity label. So I put out my own music on Bandcamp.
Cool.
And a couple tapes over the years. It's really just a place to put my own work on Bandcamp. And we call it 60 Hertz. And I spell it 60, but Hertz as an HURTS, which I thought is kind of cute.
Is it hard to cheat yourself out of music or out of money?
Yes. Yeah, because you set a price of $1 per track.
Yeah.
And then you end up getting 75 cents.
But are you paying the artist?
And it goes into my account. Yeah, there's a small label, but I'm also aware, just to give you a background of where we are, this is a recording studio called Santo Recording. We have a website, and I'll probably write it in the YouTube because I have to find it because it's not a normal website. But anyhow, and we have a Instagram if you're ever curious about what we do here. But Santo Recording, and I work here as an engineer, and then I pay in. It's like a co-op, so there's maybe 7 or 8 of us, including the 2 members, Josh and Chris, who built this place. Very beautiful job, by the way. You'll enjoy it. A lot of reclaimed wood, and just really beautiful aesthetic. So all of us pool money to pay for rent and keep up the
Oh, that's awesome.
day-to-day stuff, and
Yeah.
that gives me some free time in here. And I've almost thought of this today, now that we've been here last night and today getting ready, and then we'll be here tomorrow for another live session with our good friend Joel, who's in Once and Future band, really rocking band. You'll love him. But I feel like we turned it into a small residency.
Yeah. No, it sounds
So
like it.
we you'll hear more from Luke, but we've just been experimenting in here.
Yeah.
Figuring
No,
it out.
that's so awesome. And you've got the
You know?
space to kind of, to have that freedom. That's really cool.
Yeah, and during this pandemic quarantine, the studio kind of shut down. A lot of our clients chose not to record their albums here or anywhere.
Yeah.
Or at least at home more than in a studio. So we found that we need to imagine how to repurpose the space during this time, and small gatherings of 3 people, and you'll hopefully get to meet Brian. He was our right-hand person. Trying to that's kind of jumping ahead, but we need to all as artists think about how we're going to do this remotely.
Yeah, how
and
things have
this
changed.
was one idea that we're playing with right now.
No, it's so minus I know that you guys are having like internet trouble, but outside of that, like how do you, do you feel inspired? Do you feel like, because it feels like a lot of change is happening right now, and we're kind of just like learning as we go and like making the most of it. But is there like a good kind of feeling to it? Like how have the clients, I know that clients can, obviously people are working at home more now, but I know that you just did a streaming situation where, sorry, Luke, we'll get to you in a second, but I know that you just did a streaming situation performance where you performed with 3 other performers, and you guys are all in different states throughout the country. Somebody was in Chicago, somebody was in Boston, and somebody was in Arizona, I believe.
Aaron Dillaway is somewhere in Michigan.
Okay.
And you'll know his name if you're interested in the last 25 years of underground tape labels.
Amazing work, yeah.
And in heavy work. Then our Victoria Shin, she just came out with an amazing album.
She did. She just released.
Itself.
I know. I saw that. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Idea. She's a genius.
Yeah.
Then Raven Chacon. In Arizona, in New Mexico, Albuquerque.
New Mexico. That's right.
So yeah, it was all 4 corners. Weird.
Yeah, and you guys just used, was it Reaper that you guys used?
Yeah. So Reaper developed a plugin that you put on the master bus. Reaper's an audio DAW, and you just put it on the bus. You have someone with a server. They give you the information. You log in, and as many
play together.
It can happen. I don't know the limit, but we had at least 8 people.
That's so cool. That's so awesome.
We had a DJ. We had all 4 of us. We had the administrator.
Yeah.
And a couple other people that just wanted to be there.
Yeah. No, that's so cool.
It was weird. So anyhow, it worked really well because it's just audio.
Very cool.
So I'm finding that the video streaming adds a lot more, and that's where Luke can jump in.
Luke, if you can introduce yourself, because you helped with the visual aspect of the performance, correct?
Correct, and all the camera work and so one of my projects has been in quarantine is Brian. Hey, Brian, pop your head in the doorway here. Brian. So this is my friend Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Early, I guess beginning of March, Brian proposed the idea of trying to figure out how to do quarantine shows, as that kind of was like, but as all of us were dealing with the constant shift in situation, we had to constantly figure out what made sense, what didn't. And so this weekend is actually the first time we're doing a live streaming event.
Yeah.
But it's been so I'm a lighting designer by one of trade. I don't know. You know, in the Bay Area, like a lot of cities, you have to do 6 things to
Yep.
survive.
Yeah, to eat. Yeah.
So there's the spine of, there's a lighting system that I'm running with lasers and projections. And then there's the 4 camera system that I'm also, they're all RoboCams, so I can control
Nice.
and frame up the shots. And then it's dealing with also the streaming end of that. So this is
Right.
the first time we're stacking all the pieces on top of each other and seeing if it works.
Yeah. Well,
We're learning a lot. Yeah.
have you, what step in the process, I mean, have you seen it come to fruition yet? Or are you guys still trying to figure it out? Like, are things
Well, today,
working?
because this performance ended up being, it made sense because of the timing to do this pre-recorded. We
Right.
didn't actually have to do the streaming part of this. Though what you're going to see, or what you just saw, is pretty much, it's straight out of camera. Because we had the opportunity for, because it wasn't streaming, Zachary, buttered up the mix a little bit, but
Nice.
it's pretty much what happened in the room.
Very cool.
I mean, there's a really great Neve console in here, so that's the huge upside of streaming in this scenario, is that it's not through your crappy USB
I know.
interface. It's like you're sending in a gorgeous sound to the,
Right.
still getting it out in a way that you compress it the least, but
Yeah.
but so we're still, this is it's fun. We're making advances, but for me, I'm mentally exhausted
I
because
know.
we started loading in at 5 yesterday. We got everything running by midnight, and then we were in again today at 10 a.m.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. I know it's a lot of work, but
Well,
I appreciate it.
What else are we going to
exactly.
do?
And that would be one thing I'd jump in and say is when you can't play your shows, then that's been one of the experiences of feeling, oh no, who am I?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of answers to that, but this is just something we do. We perform, we make art, and
Right.
we're having to figure out new ways to do it.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel?
But it is hard because it's all this technology.
Well, yeah. So
I should mention that safedistancemusic.com is the thing that we're doing. I talked all about it. I didn't give the name or whatever. So yeah, safedistancemusic.com.
that's amazing. I will definitely check that out. Well, but so how do you feel? Because, what I've been noticing about live streaming, especially, is, it's like you have a performance and it's almost like, like in like poetry readings, how you have like after a reading, you have like people snap. So it's like a response, but it's not clapping. It's not this like automatic, kind of connection with the audience. So like, I mean, for the streaming project that, you did, Zachary, I mean, what's that like to like, you're like performing by yourself in your room and the, people in the chat are like,
weird.
Oh, it's such a great, it's like, I mean, yeah, cause you're a really social person. And I know that you like, you really connect with like the audience. So has that been different?
Yeah, well, I'm not as like, I did go to music school for electronic music, but I'm not really that good at computers.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to do these chats. So I know there's chats happening somewhere during the performance, but I don't know how to access them.
It's been
I know it's simple, but I just don't.
Well, no, I mean, but we're all trying to figure it out, like the best.
It's imaginary audience that I think I'm playing to.
What I would chip in and say is like, what we also have to do is accept the new reality that it's never going to live up to a live show. It's its own beast, and we have to kind of figure out ways to make. My hope is not to make somebody feel like they're at a show, but also just to make somebody lose track of where they're actually at. Like they're not sitting in their living room, like you're never going to feel what you feel at a show, but if you can make it its own experience that is also transportive, then that's where I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
to replicate the live experience, you know?
Right. Well, Luke, I mean, in kind of speaking to that in the visual aspect, I mean, are you working with anything that, I don't know, that because it's a different setting and it's a different environment, like, are you playing with other things more that maybe could enhance the like at home experience? Or are you thinking in terms of that, like what can I do, and on this like small little computer screen, that might affect the performance?
Yeah. I mean, one of my many projects during quarantine has been to dive into video synth. So I decided to not overcomplicate.
Yeah.
If you could see over here the tables of shit that's already here.
Fun, lots of fun.
I think the design and the choices of the stream is important. Like the thing we're doing tomorrow is a total request Piano Man set where our friend is basically via Venmo going to take tips to hear songs, and he's basically like, and in that way it becomes this engagement
right.
beyond a passive, and he can't sit there and respond to everything, but there's still, as a performer, you can feel that kind of bridged gap with, oh, he's playing my song for me,
people
like,
responding.
How we're framing it and the way we make the flow of events, I think, is also key to breaking up that.
Yeah.
And I'll just mention this. I think this would be an extra layer. Is their first sets at 4:30, and this is a model more than, but specifically tomorrow, it starts at 4:30. This is unrelated to our festival, but then I believe you were saying during the break, everyone in the world can go make a cocktail.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Get a little food, and
we're promoting two of the bars that Joel plays at frequently that'll be open from 4 to 8 for drinks and dinner for pickup. So we're hoping that we're going to do a 4:20 set. Then everybody goes and gets a drink or makes a drink, and then at 8 we all come back and have a cocktail together.
That's so amazing. That's such a good idea. That's totally great. I mean, it just works in kind of the situation. But I mean, that's what we have to do, like we just have to like adapt.
Well, and everybody's struggling, and so you kind of have to think about, like, it's easy to get real narrow on who I'm supporting or where my money goes, and everybody, like all these pieces, bars specifically, are like, my wife is a bartender, or former bartender at this point, I should say.
Yeah.
And
shout out Deep.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
gotta make the most
it's
of
easy
it.
to forget everybody's struggling,
No, that's so great though. So we've got about 15 minutes left. I just want to ask about the project that just played, that everybody just saw. Like, how did you guys start discussing this? I know that, Zachary, I had reached out to you. I was really impressed with your performance at No Idea, and you were just like, I've got this visual guy, and we've got this idea. So how did that come to fruition for what we just saw?
I'm not quite sure the first time I met you, but this is a person that's just a
long-term community links,
and has been a part of so many things.
Very cool.
Oakland is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. And anyways, so I've known of Luke for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a part of radical shows and concerts and his own projects that are the focus. And he also has put on a festival in his backyard, which is beautiful.
What's it called?
Fart and Gold. Yes. And I've played twice now. I don't know how many you've had, but so he's also been aware of my work. So we're friends, and we've worked together where I'm the sound person at a venue and they're the lighting and video director.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like some of my strongest memories, is having a friend upstairs that you can.
Hey Luke, you got any weed? Yeah.
The bestest of friends, yes.
Just knowing you got someone good upstairs making it look good, and you're downstairs trying your best to make it sound good.
Yeah.
And you're kind of teammates.
Yeah.
So we've had that collaboration as well. So more recently, though, Luke has been involved in video for the Watkins Peacock project.
Okay.
And have you worked with Ross prior?
Yeah, Mwahaha. Did visuals years ago and knew Ross from that. Yeah.
So when I go to someone like Luke, it's because they do something.
Yeah.
And I had just a few suggested ideas before we even got into this room, that we sat around the table outside and just discussed ideas. And he showed me what he's been working on. I'm like, perfect. Bring me what you're working on. I'll bring what I'm working on. We'll meet halfway.
Yeah.
And so my suggestions were just more just like abstract, like what, whoa, type of imagery.
Thunderstorms, I think, is what you suggested. Yeah.
Texas thunderstorms. You're West Texas, right?
Yep. Love it. Yeah.
Okay, so imagine. Okay, this is the image, and this is. So you're looking out your window. The thunder hit from behind you, so you don't see the actual lightning bolt, but it's middle of night. It's all black, dark, and it just lights up the whole space.
Yeah. Very cool.
But without seeing the source. And that was just an image I had, and that's all I brought to the table. Otherwise, I really like collaborations where you kind of give the artist their space and you get your space and you see what happens.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Well, I'm pretty self-taught when it comes to lighting and stuff too, and so I always come like I don't have like a lot of art school students never make art again because you inherit like the do's and don'ts. I don't have any do's and don'ts.
Exactly.
Too restricted. Yeah.
So a lot of lighting people don't like want cues or have a particular like we can jam. It's easy.
It's a jam.
We get that. Like it's like I like that we're both improving rather than like what is the song like? Where's the change at? There's something nice about being present and that neither one of us knows where it's going.
No, yeah.
And so what we have seen just now is an improvisation in real time.
Very cool.
Day before, but so that can answer a potential question, which is, or one you already asked, which is like, I think at least we said out loud, okay, look, we're doing one take. We did little quick tests to make sure it's recording, the audio worked, but then we did only one 35-minute take. So it's 5 minutes over, but
which is funny because I was like, let's do like several and we'll have options and we can use them later. And I think it made total sense in the end that like Zach needed to think, well, coming back to what you were talking about earlier, Zach needed to feel like it was a live performance, needed to feel that was, it was present and it was over when it was over.
Right.
And so that made sense. That was like, all right, like give me a few tries to make sure everything works, and then let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel good about that. And again, it's an experiment. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is all new to us. Me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. If and I even said this yesterday when we were setting up, it's like I've been in the studio by myself recording my own solo album.
Right. Okay.
And then I'll just spend 5 hours and I'll play 5 hours.
Yeah.
Then I have to go back and listen back and decide what I like and don't like. And since I am improvising, and I'm less and less over time editing audio, I just like, take takes and then decide the beginnings and ends.
Right.
I realized during that process, and this was before quarantine, it was in December, that's not my preferred approach. I need at least one other person in the room. So kind of that way.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
Just like, I don't know what it is. But I've heard other people in the past, as an engineer, like people will, in improvised music, I think especially, they'll hire really high quality engineers for a live show and record the live show.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the energy of being in a live setting seems to inspire.
Yeah.
Well, to
It's
create is
unique.
the intention to create is to share
Mhm.
for almost always. You know,
Right.
I have I've shown Zach, but I've been building this crazy laser rig in my shipping container, and I'll go in there and blow my own mind. But I come out like looking for one of the roommates to be like, "Come on, come
Where were
check this
you?
out." You know, like it's only fun to a point. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even if you love what you're doing, you know.
No, yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of that, so Zachary, you mentioned like a solo album. So what do you guys like? What's next? With quarantine going on,
He
and
has to promote a record. He just, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead. No.
he just made a really radical video that
Okay,
that was high level.
let's
Well, I
hear
mean,
it.
whatever it is.
Look up W. Kreiderman, Give Me a Scare. It's a one-shot music video that we did in the yard with all our roommates
Said
in
yard.
quarantine.
Yeah. And it's really, really well done.
I'll have to
Very,
check that
very
out.
Inspired, impressed by that work. So hopefully
Those are so hard. Like one-shot videos, I'm always so fucking like I'm really impressed with those.
Our first time was in March. It took us 3 different nights to do it. We finally got around to doing it again in May, and it took us 2 more nights, and we got it right on the final take of the final night. But yeah, it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a chore, but it was
Yeah.
it was a really great bonding moment between the roommates too. Of like us, like, all right, we got the 4 of us. What are we doing? All right.
Right. Yeah. Very
so
cool.
hopefully a lot more of that comes out of his camp. But
Yeah.
as far as me,
Working in the studio.
give me more work, people. Call me.
I mean, you seem to be pretty, the streaming thing you did with Aaron Dillaway and Victoria Chen, and like that seemed to be really cool. And it seems like things are.
Yeah, I'm thankful for that connection. But it's okay. The Kronos Quartet wants me to do a 2-minute
there you go
composition, and they're going to play it in a Zoom kind of way, where
that's
all 4
cool.
of the players are in the same moment, and they're going to play it in Zoom.
And you're going to be playing guitar and doing like your.
They did invite me to play guitar, but I don't know if I can play with the Kronos.
I'm sure you could.
But anyway, so that's a little thing. It's just they kind of said, Zach, we're bored. You got something for us? 2 minutes max. And I'm like,
done.
No, but yes. Okay, great.
No, that's so awesome. When is that going to happen?
I'm still writing it.
Yeah.
All the festivals we got to play are become online, like this one.
Yep.
And all the stuff that we have, all of us have in our storage, our archives, are seeing the light of day.
Yeah, like how's the band, like has Bandcamp affected kind of like, because I hear that they're doing another one of their big kind of like things tomorrow or Friday, or today, about, giving all the donations straight to all the purchases straight to the artists. So has that like affected the kind of purchasing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, that's been really special. I guess not necessarily mutual aid, but people are paying a little more money for digital work right now.
Yeah.
Just as
that's
a support mechanism, which is really beautiful. And then there's a couple projects where we went into our archives, found some recordings that we love.
Yeah.
And put them out for the purpose of donating that money.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
I just learned about the one for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today. So I haven't prepared anything, so I don't think I'll jump on this one. But,
well, I'll put your link, the Bandcamp link, in the YouTube chat, and people can buy your work. So no, it's weird. It's but I think that's kind of the thing too that I've been struggling with is like, you know, we're all isolated and we're all separate, but I mean, I've listened to so much music and I've been exposed to like, so like watching Aaron Dillaway with, did you see his live stream where he had chickens and it was like a piece of metal and some contact mics and he was just giving them feed on, and like that was his performance. I was like,
now,
oh,
that's
like
a good idea.
I would have never been, you know, been able to see that or been exposed to that if it weren't for this. So we gotta just like try to find the silver lining somewhere, I guess, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the opposite is also true, that like in these times that we also need to let go of the need to constantly throw out, like part of it is like getting a chance to also be alone with ourselves too.
Yeah.
And like I feel like seeking not to, whatever, be contrarian, but I think it's a tricky thing. I think we're not meant to interact like that, and we're trying to fill a void with,
desperately
square peg round hole, you know.
Well, hopefully it'll, you know, I mean, I feel pretty inspired lately, but yeah, well, hopefully we can keep kind of doing stuff like this, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon, and whatever your next project is.
Oh, we're friends, Sonia, so
yes,
we'll
we
keep
are.
in touch. Yeah,
Yes,
we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Any plugs for yourself? What are you doing?
I actually just released a mixtape on Boss Babes. They're doing a digital residency, and it's an amazing mixtape of like amazing artists. Bossbabes.org. You can check it out there. I'll send you the link because it's a really thank you. It's been fun. But yeah, that's all the time we have for now. So thank you guys so much. And you know, everybody stick around. We're going to be having a Zoom chat here in a little bit, and you can ask more questions to Zachary and Luke if he would like to join. So, all right. Thank you guys
so much, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.